What's up YouTube? This is going to be a video on how to set up a 10-gallon Crested Gecko cage. Usually do this for the juveniles, which are about 5 to 4 inches. After that, when it gets to 6 or 7 inches, you want to update it to a 20-gallon tank, but I'll just show you how to set up a 10-gallon tall tank. So you want a tall tank. I recommend Exoterra or Zoomed. They're really good. They have these locking doors so your Crested Gecko can't escape. Sorry, that was a bad stutter. So yeah, and they have a screen lid so that your Crested Gecko can get good air ventilation. So I'm going to show you how to set this up. To start out with, I want to talk to you about lighting. Now for the light right here, I have a 40-watt UVB UVA bulb. You don't want that. That's kind of too hot. I'd recommend a 25-watt, but depending on your area, if you live in a cold area, you can use a 40-watt, but 25 would be way better. It emits the UVB, UVA, so your reptile won't get MBD. And oh yeah, by the way, this is a request from LeoMyGecko. He wanted to see how to set up his 10-gallon tank for when he does get his new Crested Gecko. So yeah, get the 25-watt UVB bulb, which is always better. Unless you live in a cold area, said again. Crested Geckos do not like that much heat. They'd rather be in room temps because that's what they thrive at. Too much heat, you can kill them. And they don't need a basking spot like most reptiles do. They're usually fine at whatever temperature your house is at. But if it goes below 60, you might need to get a 40-watt. But besides that, it's fine. So we'll start out from the bottom. On the bottom of the tank, you want either paper towel or Eco Earth. Eco Earth is really good for Crested Geckos. It gives them the humidity that they need and something soft under their feet. But be careful because your gecko might get impacted if it does swallow some of the Eco Earth when going for feeder insects. So if you do use Eco Earth, I'd recommend feeding out of a small bowl so your gecko can get to the insects without getting the Eco Earth in its mouth. Also, mixed with the Eco Earth, I use terrarium moss for more humidity. Be careful with this because if you have too small of pieces of terrarium moss, your gecko will ingest it and it can choke on it. So I've used big chunks, but for right now I just have it sort of mixed in here. I used to have larger chunks, but I took my gecko out of here and updated it to this 20-gallon tank. So if I do get another juvenile Crested Gecko, it'd be going in here and it'd use the big chunks of terrarium moss by Zoomed. Really good product. I recommend it. So let's get started. You want about an inch of depth or so for your Eco Earth, about that much, because you want to get the most use out of it. Sometimes Crested Geckos will bury themselves, not under it, but down into it when they sleep during the day, and that's good. It makes them feel more secure. To start out with, for furniture, you want a water bowl. It doesn't have to be this big. I have a water bowl this big. Sometimes they'll go in there and jump in it. Be careful you don't want it too deep because Crested Geckos will drown in that water since they are not equipped to swim, since they are arboreal lizards and tree-dwelling lizards. That's why you only want about, the water should be about half the size, half the length of the, not half the length, but if you put your gecko in the water, it should only go halfway up its body, enough so that its head can stick out of the water. But it's not swimming, it's just pretty much standing in the water because you don't want your baby to drown. This goes for the same for adult geckos too. As for foliage and plants like that, they like wood bark like this. The wood bark or cork bark, they like to climb on it and they feel really secure in it. And also they like when things are attached to it, like foliage and leaves like that. My gecko will like put these two things together and he will sleep in between there. It makes them feel really secure since they are nocturnal and they like the darkness. So that's always good to have. I'll just show you some more things that you can put in your enclosure. I like to buy these large jungle vines. I think they're made by either Zoomed, I'm pretty sure. And what I do is stick them to the back of the enclosure because they are suction cupped. And I move this out of the way and sort of put this down on the ground so that it covers the back of the enclosure, giving your gecko some place to sleep during the day. My gecko loves this. They love to have a very nice leafy place to sleep. They crawl in there and they sleep under during the day. and they like to, it also blocks some of the light out, so when they are sleeping the light's not 24/7 in their face. It gives them a dark place to hide under. When my gecko was a juvenile, he would crawl under like this little area right here and sleep in there, buried down into the substrate. Not completely buried, but you know, just sleeping in there sort of like it was a bed. Also, I like to put another one of those plants on the side of the enclosure so that it gives it more options if it wants to hide or if it wants to play around in it. I put this on the side so that it can also block some of the light during the day, like that. Hold on, I'll take this out because I also make sure that it doesn't go into the water bowl, and it also leaves some space, so you might want to clump it up a little bit like that so that it's there for security, but also it doesn't take up too much room, because you want more than just leafy plants. You also want something sturdy for a reptile to hold on to when it jumps around at night, because crested geckos do like to jump, and if they grab onto something that they can't really hold on to, they will fall and it could injure them, since these tanks are high and made for arboreal reptiles. Now back to the leafy foliage. Mostly you just want to put all the leafy things on the side because they like to sleep in them and hide in them. I have one more of these leafy plants. I'll give you a little view of what it looks like so far, so I'll back up some. I know some people may say this looks done right now, but it's not done completely. Put one more right there on the side. And I'll show you my Crested Gecko for comparison to show you how big everything is and how big you want it to be. My Crested Gecko is an adult, so you can probably just subtract a couple inches to see what size you want the majority of your plants to be. Hold on, I'm holding him right now, sorry. Like I said, they need sturdy plants. See? Like this. That's hard and they can stand up on them easily. So I'll put one of those diagonally in the tank. When you put them in diagonally, it gives your Crested Gecko something to climb onto, and it makes it easier. Like I said, since these plants go up pretty high, you don't want your heat bulb to be that hot, 25 watts at most, because you don't want to burn your reptile, because Crested Geckos will try to get to the highest point of the cage and they will get burned. Put one more of those in there. So I put all this stuff in here so my Crested Gecko can have a lot of variety to choose from when it comes to climbing and things like that. Crossing them makes it more interesting for them. They like to go up one way and come down the other, go up that way, climb over there. It makes it more fun and they feel more secure. Sorry, I have a cold. So yeah, that's basically how you set up a 10-gallon tank for your juvenile Crested Gecko. You want to make sure you mist this down every night to give it moisture, because Crested Geckos don't drink from the water bowl. The water bowl is mainly just for humidity purposes, and if they have like a stuck shed or something, they could go down there and soak in it, which they usually don't. They'd rather get out of the water, but it's good for them. So I'll show you my Crested Gecko and put him in there so you can all see. See, this enclosure is not too good of a size for him. Since he is an adult, it'd be way too small. That's him compared to all of it. Let's see if he'll jump. Yep. So yeah, this was a request by LeoMyGecko. I hope this helps you out some. And if you have any more videos for me to answer questions of yours of any reptile like Crested Geckos or albino Pac-Man frogs, regular Pac-Man frogs, just let me know. I'm pretty much an expert on all things Crested Geckos. I've done research on them. I've been keeping them for years. Oh yeah, one more thing. Let me demonstrate how they like to go back into the... Oh, he's trying to jump. He really likes it in there. So yeah, oh, if you calm down some. Calm down, buddy. Jeez. So if I'll show you, put him in the back like that. And he'll sleep in there if I turn off this light. And I just let him go. He'll just climb in there and go to sleep. So yeah, I hope you liked the video. Here's an overview of the tank. Give you a side view. Remember, leafy foliage, strong sticks, an inch of eco earth, cork bark wood attached to some plants for them to sleep in, water bowl, and that's about it. Give you a side view of how everything looks. So yeah, if you have any questions for me about how to set it up or where you can get all these things, just let me know. All right, thanks.